Alright guys, big spoilers ahead for Spider-Man No Way Home, so click away if you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, no spoilers.
I'll give you a few extra seconds by just gushing about how perfect No Way Home is. I don't think I can stop simultaneously cheering and crying whenever I think about a single second of the new Spidey film. It's that good. Okay, enough stalling. From here on out, major spoilers. The Spider-Men are back and it's better than we could have ever imagined. But now the big question becomes, could we see the other Spider-Man again in the MCU? And if so, what would they be up to? Well, that's what I want to talk about today, so let's get started right now.
My back. Oh, my back.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. I didn't expect that much Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire in the movie. In my head, I thought they were just going to show up at the new and improved Statue of Liberty for the final battle, make some quips, and call it a day. But nope, they were integral to the plot. They helped our Peter work through his grief after the shocking death of Aunt May and reminded Peter what it truly meant to be Spider-Man. Solid gold, I tell you. Top-notch marks all around. But after the final battle wrapped up, Andrew and Tobey went back to their respective universes to continue the good fight. But that can't be it, right? I'm not ready to say goodbye after just having them back in our lives. So I'm going to do the extremely healthy thing and dive into deep detail how we can keep all these Spider-Men in the MCU forever. I'm fine, don't worry about me, I'm okay. Anyways, let's start with Andrew Garfield because the dude looked like he was having a blast returning to the role. Yes, the press hounded the actor relentlessly every chance they got leading up to this movie, and he had to fight for his life denying he was in fact in it, but I hope that doesn't deter him away from his eagerness to jump back into the tights. Because, guys, he's excellent. Garfield was always a fantastic Spider-Man, and it was just his movies that weren't anything special. So here's my solution. Let's make Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man the Spidey over in the Venom Sonyverse. Feels like that universe needs a Spidey, and Andrew Garfield needs some better villains to play around with, and not be bogged down with weird mythology surrounding his parents. It's a win-win. Yeah, there could be some logical problems with that, as the Sonyverse is clearly not the Amazing Spider-Man verse, but let's just say that Strange's spell wasn't perfect and it placed Andrew Garfield in the Sonyverse permanently. Then you can continue to have all these solo villain movies like Venom, Morbius, Kraven, and lead up to a Sinister Six movie where Garfield's Spidey is a side character or antagonist, thus completing an idea for a film that was bouncing around since the days of Amazing Spider-Man 2. Again, everyone wins. But while Andrew Garfield could continue on in the Sonyverse, what about the OG Peter Parker? Tobey Maguire's Peter looked like he was in trouble after choosing to turn his back on a crazed Green Goblin and getting stabbed for it. But nah, he was fine and went back to his own life where he may or may not be with Mary Jane. His explanation about that was weird. He first told Garfield's Peter that the situation was complicated, but then followed up with how they found a way to make it work, so who knows? Wait, I want to know. So I think the best way to see Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man again is just to make Spider-Man 4. Yes, that's right, continue with Maguire's film series while simultaneously having the Sonyverse with Garfield and Tom Holland in the MCU. Like, legitimately, why not? Back in the day, the concept of having two actors playing the same character was seen as something that would confuse the audience, but not anymore. More casual viewers understand how the multiverse works now and wouldn't be confused if Tobey Maguire and Tom Holland both got another movie. Sam Raimi is even a major presence in the MCU now, with him directing the Doctor Strange sequel that's all about the multiverse, so all the pieces are there. Think about it, we could get a film that explores an older Peter Parker navigating adulthood in contrast to Tom Holland's Peter Parker, who is still a teenager. You can make Sam Raimi's original Spider-Man 4 and have Bruce Campbell as Mysterio, John Malkovich as the Vulture, even Dylan Baker as the Lizard. You're telling me that wouldn't make a ton of money right now? After having movies where the character is young or supposed to be young, don't you want to see an almost 50-year-old Spider-Man and how he's functioning in the world? I do. But okay, I know what you're thinking. The real treat of No Way Home was seeing all these Spider-Men on screen together, discussing web fluid, who fought aliens, hyping each other up, wondering if the Avengers were a band, you know, all that good stuff. So while seeing these Spider-Men off in their own new franchises would be cool, how do we get them back together? Well, I have an answer for that as well. 2 words: secret Wars. Yes, the classic comic series that surprisingly has not been adapted yet in the MCU would be a perfect way to bring back together the three Spider-Men. The original comic series saw the cosmic entity the Beyonder pluck a lot of heroes and villains from Earth and teleport them to Battleworld to fight. Now, it wouldn't be too much of a stretch to say that the MCU version of the Beyonder could pluck different heroes from across the multiverse, and he would totally grab all three Spider-Men. Then you could have another team-up of the three of them. Fun fact, in the comics, this is also where Peter Parker first came into contact with the Venom symbiote, so there's definitely merits to adapt this storyline for the next big Spidey event film, because the next step would not only see the three Spider-Men reunite, but also have them interact with other heroes now. Let's just keep leveling up, people. I think all these ideas would be awesome, don't you? Look, even if there's no action, please, Disney Plus, make a Christmas special where all three Spider-Men come together for Christmas and share a meal and talk about their shared trauma and histories. Maybe Tobey Maguire's Peter can bring the cranberries? Please, I want this more than the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special.